You're sheltering enemies of the state, are you not?
Yes.
You're sheltering them underneath your floorboards, aren't you?
Yes.
Point out to me the areas where they're hiding.
From the very first scene of Inglourious Basterds, Hans Landa establishes himself as one of the most terrifying and memorable villains in cinematic history. Quentin Tarantino masterfully introduces Landa in a chilling, slow-burn opening sequence that sets the tone for the entire film. Played by Christoph Waltz, Hans Landa is not just a Nazi officer. He is the embodiment of cunning intelligence, manipulation, and unapologetic evil, a man who weaponizes charm and intellect to devastating effect. The opening scene is, without a doubt, one of the most iconic in Tarantino's career. We are introduced to Landa as he arrives at a quiet French dairy farm, ostensibly to conduct a routine investigation. What follows is anything but ordinary. Landa's interrogation of the farmer, Perrier Lapidite, is a masterclass in psychological manipulation. Waltz's performance, paired with Tarantino's script, creates an unbearable tension that leaves both the characters and the audience utterly helpless. The power of this scene lies in Landa's conversational tendencies. He begins the interaction with polite formalities, complimenting Lapidite's family and home. This disarming charm lulls Lapidite into a false sense of security, only for Landa to methodically dismantle him. The switch from friendliness to menace is subtle but chilling. When Landa explains his nickname, the Jew Hunter, he does so with an unsettling pride, likening himself to a skilled predator. His analogy of Jews as rats, though abhorrent, reveals the depth of his indoctrination and his ability to rationalize his actions.
The feature that makes me such an effective hunter of the Jews is, as opposed to most German soldiers, I can think like a Jew, where they can only think like a German. More precisely, a German soldier.
This scene also establishes a key theme of the film, the power of words. Landa's weapon of choice is not a gun, but his intellect and ability to wield language as a tool of domination. He speaks multiple languages, switching seamlessly between French, German, and English, and uses this linguistic dexterity to control every interaction. In the opening sequence, his shift to English is not merely a display of skill. It is a deliberate tactic to ensure the hidden Jewish family cannot understand the conversation, further isolating them and asserting his dominance. By the time Landa uncovers the hiding place of the Dreyfus family and orders their execution, we understand the true horror of his character. He is not a mindless brute, but a calculating and opportunistic predator. Christoph Waltz's performance, layered with charm, humor, and menace, earned him the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor, and rightfully so. This introduction solidifies Hans Landa as an all-time great villain, not because he is overtly monstrous, but because his evil is delivered with a smile.
And the winner is Christoph Waltz in Inglourious Basterds.
This is the first Academy Award and nomination for Christoph Waltz.
One of the most fascinating aspects of Hans Landa's character is his duality. He is both charming and brutal, a combination that makes him deeply unsettling. Throughout Inglourious Basterds, Landa oscillates between moments of levity and terror, keeping everyone, including the audience, on edge. This unpredictability is a hallmark of great villains and a testament to the strength of Tarantino's writing and Waltz's performance. Take, for example, the restaurant scene with Shosanna Dreyfus. Years after the massacre of her family, Shosanna has assumed a new identity and is operating a cinema in Nazi-occupied Paris. Landa's reappearance in her life is a moment of pure dread, yet the interaction that follows is, on the surface, mundane. Landa orders strudel and engages in polite conversation, even insisting on adding whipped cream to their dessert. However, every word he speaks is laden with subtext. The audience, aware of Landa's past actions, is left wondering whether he recognizes Shosanna and is toying with her, or if he is genuinely oblivious. This ambiguity is what makes the scene so nerve-wracking. Landa's charm is a weapon he wields masterfully. He uses it to disarm his victims, making them feel safe before striking. In another scene, he warmly greets Bridget von Hammersmark, the German actress working as a double agent. Landa's politeness and humor mask his suspicions, making his eventual revelation of her betrayal all the more shocking. His ability to maintain a facade of affability while harboring dark intentions is a defining trait that sets him apart from other villains. But Landa's charm is not without purpose. It is a tool he uses to achieve his goals, whether that's extracting information, intimidating enemies, or negotiating his own survival. This pragmatism is what makes him so dangerous. Unlike many cinematic villains who are driven by ideology or revenge, Landa's primary motivation is self-preservation. He has no loyalty to the Nazi cause. He is an opportunist who will betray anyone if it benefits him. This moral ambiguity adds depth to his character and makes him unpredictable. The juxtaposition of charm and brutality is perhaps best exemplified in the tavern scene, where Landa's absence is felt as much as his presence. The tension in this scene builds to a violent climax, but it is the fear of Landa's intervention that looms over the characters. When he finally arrives at the aftermath, his polite demeanor and dark humor only heighten the horror of the situation. This ability to command fear, even when off-screen, speaks to the power of his character. At the heart of Hans Landa's character is his selfishness. He is not driven by ideology or hatred, but by a desire to survive and thrive, no matter the cost. This makes him the perfect antithesis to the protagonists of Inglourious Basterds, who are willing to sacrifice everything for a greater cause. Landa's actions are guided by self-interest, and he will betray anyone, including his own allies, to ensure his personal victory. This selfishness is most evident in the film's climax. When Landa realizes that the war is nearing its end and the Nazis are on the brink of defeat, he switches sides without hesitation. He offers to help the Bastards assassinate Hitler and the Nazi high command in exchange for immunity and a comfortable post-war life.
So when the military history of this night is written, it will be recorded that I was part of Operation Kino from the very beginning as a double agent. Anything I've done in my guise as an SS colonel was sanctioned by the OSS as a necessary evil to establish my cover with the Germans.
This betrayal of his comrades underscores his lack of loyalty and principles. For Landa, survival is the ultimate goal, and he is willing to outwit, outplay, and outlast everyone to achieve it. Landa's opportunism is a reflection of the film's larger themes. While the protagonists represent self-sacrifice and the pursuit of justice, Landa embodies the corrupting influence of power and the moral compromises people make to secure their own interests. His willingness to collaborate with the Allies is not a redemption arc, but a continuation of his manipulative tactics. Even in defeat, he seeks to come out on top. What makes Landa truly terrifying is his ability to adapt. He is a master of reading people and situations, allowing him to stay one step ahead of everyone else. This adaptability makes him a formidable opponent and ensures his survival in a world of shifting allegiances. However, it also makes him deeply unsettling. Unlike many villains who are eventually undone by their hubris or ideological rigidity, Landa's pragmatism ensures that he remains a threat until the very end. In the final moments of the film, Landa's comeuppance is both satisfying and symbolic. When Aldo Rain carves a swastika into Landa's forehead, it serves as a permanent mark of his crimes. Landa's attempts to escape justice are ultimately futile, as he is branded for life as a symbol of the very ideology he sought to exploit for his own gain.